You ever wake up and feel like you're already behind? Like you've been carrying a bag of bricks all night, and you can't even explain why? That's what caring too much does. It's invisible weight, and most of us don't even know we're carrying it. You care how they'll react. You care what they'll think. You care so much about not letting anyone down that you end up letting yourself down. Every single day, it starts small. You say yes when you wanted to say no. You smile when something inside you is breaking. You pick up the phone, answer the text, drive across town, stay late, give advice, make peace, sacrifice sleep, energy, and sanity, just to hold it all together. And here's the thing, nobody even sees it. They see calm, they see kind, they see strong, but inside, it's not calm, it's not kind, it's chaos. You ever been in a room full of people and still felt alone? You ever give 100% and still get questioned, overlooked, dismissed? That's the cost of caring too much. You start to lose track of where you end and everyone else begins. You stop asking what you want because you're too busy making sure everyone else is okay. And after a while, you forget that you matter just as much. And I know, it feels noble, it feels selfless. You tell yourself, this is what good people do. They care. But let me ask you something, when was the last time you felt cared for? When was the last time someone asked you how you were doing, and you believe they actually wanted to know? See, people get used to your giving, they get used to your silence, they get used to your sacrifice, and if you're not careful, you'll become the hero in everybody else's story, but the ghost in your own. I've been there, I've smiled through pain so real it nearly swallowed me whole. I've said it's all good, when I didn't even believe it, not because I was weak, but because I thought that was love. But love, real love, doesn't ask you to shrink. It doesn't ask you to suffer, and when you find yourself exhausted not from what you're doing, but from who you're doing it for, it's time to pause. It's time to ask yourself, why am I carrying this? Because the truth is, some of what you're carrying ain't yours, it never was. Some of that pressure, it came from old wounds, from growing up with expectations on your back like chains, from trying to be the strong one your whole life, from believing your value is in what you give instead of who you are. But here's what I want you to know. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. You don't have to prove your worth through pain. You are allowed to put the weight down. You are allowed to care without crumbling. You are allowed to walk away from what drains you, even if they call you selfish for doing it. Because one day you're gonna realize the most dangerous thing isn't not caring at all, it's caring so much that you forget to care for you. And that's the day everything changes. You ever wonder why you care so much? Not just that you care, but why it hurts when someone's upset with you, why your whole body tightens when you feel misunderstood, why the silence after a disagreement feels louder than the argument itself. That kind of caring, it didn't just appear one day, it's old, it's deep, it's wired into you like a survival instinct. For some of us, it started young. Maybe you had to earn your love at home. Maybe peace in the house depended on you staying small, staying quiet, staying good. So you learned that approval meant safety. You learned that being liked was the only way to belong. You weren't taught boundaries. You were taught performance. You weren't taught to speak your truth. You were taught to keep the peace. And you know what happens when that little version of you grows up. They become someone who flinches at conflict, someone who says I'm fine when they're falling apart, someone who gives and gives, not just because they want to, but because they have to, or else they fear losing everything. It's not about the person in front of you. It's about the stories behind you. It's about the voice inside that says, if I don't make everyone happy, I'll be abandoned. I'll be rejected. I'll be nothing. That's not caring. That's coping. And here's the twist. Most people think people pleasers are soft, but they don't know what it takes to carry all that, to walk into every room scanning for approval like radar, to shape, shift depending on who's around, to live every day on emotional call, trying to keep the peace, fix the vibe, hold it all together. That's not weakness, that's trauma in disguise, and sometimes it hides behind smiles, sometimes it looks like ambition, sometimes it sounds like I just want everyone to be okay. But underneath, there's fear, fear of being too much, fear of being not enough, fear that if someone disapproves of you, then maybe they're right. But let me tell you something, that voice in your head, that inner critic that's been running the show, it's not your truth. It's a recording, a leftover program from the past, and it's time to rewrite it. You don't need to prove you're worthy. You don't need to please to be loved. You don't have to abandon yourself to keep anyone else around, because real connection, real love, real respect, it doesn't require you to erase yourself. The person who taught you to care too much, maybe they were broken too. Maybe they didn't know better, but you do now. So stop asking, what's wrong with me? Start asking, where did I learn this? And more importantly, do I still need to carry it? Because you're not broken. You're programmed, but the beautiful thing about that, you can reprogram. You can care from a place of strength. Not fear, not performance, not need, but from choice. And that changes everything. Let me tell you something most people won't say out loud. You can care and still let go. You can love people and still keep your peace. You can show up without giving yourself away. See, most folks think detachment means you stop feeling, that it's cold, that it's cruel, that it's distant, but that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about closing your heart. I'm talking about guarding your soul. I'm talking about the kind of detachment that says, I still love you, but I'm not responsible for how you carry that love. I still care about you, but your chaos is not my home. I still show up, but I don't shrink to fit in your expectations. Detachment is power, quiet power, still power. It's the ability to sit in a room where tension's high and your peace stays unbothered. It's hearing someone talk about you sideways and not needing to defend your name, because you know your truth. It's giving your heart to the world without letting it be torn apart by every storm that comes. You know what that takes? It takes work. It takes practice. It takes unlearning everything you thought love was supposed to be, because we were taught to believe that love means sacrifice, that loyalty means struggle, that if you really care, you'll go down with the ship. But let me say this plain, you don't have to drown to prove you can swim. You don't have to carry someone else's burdens to show you're loyal. You don't have to absorb their moods, their pain, their problems just to be close to them. You can say, I see you, I hear you, but I won't lose me in the process of trying to hold you. That's what detachment really is. It's love with maturity. It's knowing you are not the solution to everyone's storm. It's knowing that peace is your home, not something you beg for in someone else's chaos. And yes, at first it'll feel unfamiliar. You'll feel guilty. You'll feel like you're abandoning people. But let me tell you something. You're not abandoning anyone. You're returning to yourself, because when you detach, you finally stop reacting to every fire like it's your job to put it out. You stop letting other people's energy dictate your own. You stop living in emotional debt, trying to pay off everyone else's happiness with your own well-being. You don't owe your mental health to anyone. You can love without losing. You can help without holding. You can care without carrying. And once you taste that kind of freedom that deepen your bones kind of peace, you won't go back. Because when you start practicing detachment, you start living from the inside out, not the outside in. And that is where your real power begins. People hear the word boundary and immediately get uncomfortable. Like it's a rejection, like it's a punishment, like it's saying, I don't want you. But that's not what boundaries are. See, a wall says, stay out. A boundary says, this is how we can stay connected safely. And there's a big difference. I used to think setting a boundary meant I was pushing people away, that it meant I wasn't being loving enough, kind enough, available enough. So I kept the door wide open. I let people walk in whenever they wanted. I let them stay too long, say too much, take too much, all in the name of love, all in the name of being a good person. But let me tell you something, there is nothing noble about self-neglect. There is nothing holy about constantly sacrificing your peace just to keep someone else comfortable. You set a boundary because you respect the relationship. You set it because you value yourself. You set it because you know that without it, resentment will grow where love used to live. Some folks won't like your boundaries, not because they're unfair, but because they can no longer use your silence. They were used to the version of you that always said yes, The one that kept quiet to keep the vibe right. The one that never complained, never asked for anything, never said, "This doesn't work for me." But guess what? That version of you was tired. That version of you was pretending. That version of you was surviving, not thriving. Boundaries don't mean you stop loving people. They mean you start loving yourself too. It's saying, I can't keep pouring into you if I'm empty. It's saying, I won't accept behavior that drains me. It's saying, I know what I need, and I'm not afraid to say it out loud. And yes, at first, people will push back. They'll test it. They'll say, you've changed. And you know what? They're right. You have changed. You've grown. You've learned that keeping the peace at the expense of your spirit is not peace. It's performance. You've learned that people who really love you will honor your boundaries, not break them. The people who are meant to be in your life, they won't walk away because of your boundaries. They'll walk toward you with more respect. They'll show up better. They'll listen closer. They'll understand that you're no longer asking, you're telling them how to treat you. And those who don't, let them go. Let them find spaces that don't require growth, that don't ask for accountability, that don't ask for truth. But you keep growing because your peace, your mental clarity, your sense of self, those are sacred. And if someone can't exist in your life without crossing your line, then they're not meant to walk your path. You weren't put here to be a doormat. You were put here to stand tall, with love, with grace, and with boundaries that protect the light you've worked so hard to keep burning. Let me tell you something real, something most people don't understand until they've been through the fire. Peace is not passive. Peace is not weakness. Peace is not what's left over when everything else settles down. Peace is a choice. Peace is a discipline. Peace is a power that most people will never touch because they're too busy reacting to everything that tries to pull them out of it. But when you find it, when you claim it, when you protect it like your life depends on it, you become untouchable. See, the world will try to convince you that the loudest one is the strongest, that the person who fights every battle, responds to every slight, proves every point. That's the one with power. But I'm here to tell you different. Real power is still. Real power doesn't flinch. Real power can sit in the middle of chaos and say, I will not be moved. That's peace. Peace is saying, I don't need to attend every argument I'm invited to. Peace is when you stop letting someone's bad day become your bad day. Peace is when you learn to walk away, not because you're weak, but because you've got better places to be. And listen, peace isn't found out there in someone else's approval. It's not found in the applause, the attention, the validation. That stuff fades, that stuff flips on you, that stuff keeps you chasing. Peace is found in here, when you can lay your head down at night and know you didn't betray yourself just to please somebody else. When you can look in the mirror and say, I stayed true to me today. When you stop performing and start being, you don't need to prove your worth through your pain. You don't need to explain your peace to people who live in drama like it's oxygen. Let them think what they want. Let them twist your silence into arrogance, your boundaries into ego, your detachment into coldness. That's not your burden to carry. You didn't come here to be understood by everyone. You came here to stand in your truth, and when you do, you realize something powerful. Most of the noise in your life wasn't coming from the outside. It was coming from inside, from the fear, from the guilt, from the need to be everything for everyone. But the moment you stop feeding that noise, the moment you choose peace over performance, you start to hear something else. You start to hear you, and when you hear you, when you find that still, steady voice that says, this is who I am. This is what I need. This is what I won't allow. You step into a different kind of life. A life that doesn't chase. A life that doesn't beg. A life that doesn't break every time someone else gets uncomfortable. Because now, you know, your peace is your anchor. Your peace is your compass. Your peace is your superpower. And once you protect it, truly protect it, you won't let anything or anyone take it away again. So now you know, you're not crazy for feeling tired. You're not weak for wanting to breathe. You're not wrong for putting yourself first. Not selfish, not cold, not distant. You're finally awake. For too long, you've worn the weight of the world like it was your duty. You've smiled through storms, made peace in places that didn't deserve your silence, and given pieces of yourself just to keep people comfortable. But today, this moment right here, it's a line in the sand. It's the moment you stop performing and start living, the moment you stop proving and start choosing, the moment you take that invisible armor off and come home to yourself, because you were never meant to be everything for everyone. You were never meant to carry what was never yours. You were meant to stand tall, to speak up, to walk away from anything that costs you your peace. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about becoming hard. It's about becoming clear. Clear about what you need. Clear about what you'll allow. Clear about who you are when you're not shrinking to fit somebody else's expectations. So if you've been waiting for permission to set boundaries, to protect your peace, to stop caring more than you should, here it is, you have it. You don't have to apologize for choosing yourself. You don't have to explain your healing. You don't have to earn your worth. You already are. So the next time you feel like you're carrying too much, step back, breathe deep, and remember, you are not here to be consumed. You are here to live. Let the world adjust to your light. Let them feel your absence when they can't handle your truth. Let them call it whatever they want. But you keep walking, with peace in your heart, with truth in your voice, and with power in your soul, because that is who you were always meant to be.